Hello. Welcome to the show. You know it's the show. We call ourselves a little thing called
The Island Shuffle.
My Name's a Bean.
And my name's James.
Every week, we convene on this sacred spot, and we watch one episode of Lost. And it doesn't matter what episode it is. Any episode.
It could be any one. And how do you choose any episode?
You roll a 121-sided die.
Yes. And that die is called random.org, but more about that later.
Yeah, you stay tuned. You'll get an earful about it.
You're gonna like that.
You're gonna. I reckon they're gonna love it if you ask me. But I mean, it's up to the viewers, really.
It's up to the viewers.
The listeners, the viewers of our show.
The viewers at home.
The people who open this up in Audacity and just watch the the waveform.
Oh, I love doing that.
You
can tell when someone laughs because it's the loudest thing.
Exactly. You can see exactly the rhythm of everybody as they're talking. It's
the
perfect.
rhythm of the people and the speech of the people and the speech of the people of the rhythm.
That's the way that all audio is meant to be listened to.
Clap your hands to the rhythm of the speech of the rhythm of the people of the rhythm.
You've got yourself the lyrics to a early to mid '90s house song. There,
yeah,
I think.
Hell yes, that's exactly what I was going for. Thank you.
You nailed it.
What
did we watch this week?
This week we watched what is commonly known as Good Lost. Season 1, episode 6.
Yes.
So we're right in the thick of Lost is still setting up their world, still introducing us to characters, still doing what are the main things that we've got going on here? Terry O'Quinn is gone crazy. John Locke is just a crazy woodsman at this point.
Yeah, he's just a weirdo hunter who seems to know vague things about the island.
Yeah, Jack and Kate are both in grade 10.
Yeah, they're both very flirty and boo.
Yeah.
Kate bends over and Kate's like, "Stop staring at my butt."
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And Jack's like, "I promise I was not staring at your butt."
Charlie is still hard on the heroin.
He loves the stuff. And frankly, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah. Everyone says it. It's great.
Everyone that's tried it is
no regrets.
No regrets. Yes. I think that's the official slogan of heroin.
Yep.
No regrets.
Correct. And most notably, Jin and Sun are both speaking only in Korean.
Oh,
still.
yes, only in Korean.
Which makes sense because this is an episode about sun.
House of the Rising Sun.
It's called House of the Rising Sun to tell you that it's a sun episode. Not great.
Such an awful name, yeah. Because there's nothing...
It doesn't have anything to do with,
anything.
The famous song by the Animals. No, nothing to do with that.
There's no house imagery. There's no sun imagery. There is just a character named Sun.
Yes. So it's not great, but hey, it's fine.
What would you have named the episode?
I would have named,
but making it still a sun pun.
I would have named it Radiohead.
Radiohead.
I just think that's a cool name for something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I guess so.
Well, actually, Talking Heads have this song called Radiohead.
Do they actually?
I thought they do, and I think that would be
that's
a cool...
That's where Radiohead name came from?
I don't know who that is.
Oh.
I just think that's a cool name for something.
I would have called the episode Sunscreen.
Oh. Not a lot of screen imagery, though.
Well, there's a lot of... You know what? Let's just talk about the episode.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about the flashbacks first, or do you want to talk about the island adventures?
Let's go flashbacks first because I feel like
there's not
that much there. It's pretty quick.
Because it's very much establishing stuff that we already kind of know. Like how Sun and Jin are in love.
Yeah, very basic stuff.
We get a scene of them being in love, and Jin gives Sun a flower. And Sun's like, "Oh, it's beautiful." And Sun's like, "We should elope so we can get away from all this craziness." And Jin says, "No, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to your father. I'm going to reason with him. And we're going to work it out the old-fashioned way."
And it's worth noting here that when we're introduced to Jin, he is a waiter at, he's like a catering waiter, essentially.
At some fancy event.
He's not upper class. Whereas Sun... it's alluded to that Sun's father is very wealthy.
Very wealthy, very powerful.
Very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
The power of this man is unheard of.
Unprecedented.
It is rivaled only by his wealth.
True. That's what they're all saying about Mr. Sun's dad.
Mr. Sun Dad. House of the Rising Dad.
Yes. I like
Dad
that.
of the Rising Sun. That's good.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
I like how I said that, and then I was like, oh, that's good.
You fixed it. You punched up the episode.
We'll send that into the old Lost People. See if they can't. On the new DVDs they put out, they can change the name.
Yeah, exactly. When they make the Blu-ray collection come out eventually. Blu-ray still a thing? This is not a well worth going down.
Blu-ray is still a thing.
It's still going strong?
Yep.
That's good. Good for them.
Yeah, they're really good. HD.
Oh, man. The highest definition you can get.
The blue tint on the bottom of the disc.
Oh, so cyber cool.
Harder to scratch.
Thank goodness, because I'm always scratching at those boys.
I know. I'm scratching. Just scratch. It's like a mosquito bite on the bottom of my disc.
I see it, and I see the silver, and I think, this must be a lottery ticket. What am I going to win? And then before I know it, I can no longer watch the middle chunk of 24 episodes.
I know. Of episodes of the show 24.
Exactly.
That is what. Okay,
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Good.
I got Kiefer on the mind. Did you did you know that Kiefer Sutherland came to Montreal yesterday?
No, for what?
For a concert. I should clarify. Kiefer Sutherland performed at Club Soda.
What? That's so weird.
Right?
Oh my god. I didn't even know he did music.
Me neither, until the bus passed by Club Soda, and there it was tonight, Kiefer Sutherland. And I was like, what is he like? Is he like speaking? And nope, the poster has him in a guitar and on a microphone.
That is so weird. I don't like that.
I feel many types of ways about
I like
it.
that no one is going there for his music.
No, everyone's definitely just looking at it and being like, Jack Bauer or like Big Boss.
I will just say, you don't need to hear it to know that his music isn't very good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good.
Could you imagine? If it's
No, I can't imagine that it's interesting.
Imagine it's the most revolutionary album of the decade.
I would have heard about it, I feel like. If Kiefer Sutherland was making good music, people would know.
Maybe that's true. Yeah, you're right. I'm giving Kiefer too much credit. And maybe it's just because his dad or granddad, or I forget which, was born in St. John, New Brunswick.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love claiming people's ancestors.
Exactly. Kiefer's basically a St. Johnner by birthright.
Oh, yeah, of course, right?
Right.
If anyone along your lineage was born anywhere, then you belong to that small town.
That's exactly right.
Where they have nothing else going for them.
That's exactly right. Yeah, okay, that's it. That's enough about Kiefer. So, what were we even talking about?
Jin asks Sun's dad if he can marry old Sunny old pal.
Yes, and Jin comes up and he's like, great news. He said, yes, all I have to do is work in a year in a factory and a year here and this. And Sun kind of looks downtrodden.
She looks very sad about it.
Until Jin busts out the big diamond ring.
Oh, yeah, and then she's like, no, this is dope as shit.
This is great, actually. Next scene, Sun comes home and there's a puppy in a gift box. And it's like, great, I have a puppy now. This life is great. And
Beautiful life.
And then Jin comes home and is like, hey, do you like the puppy? I've been spending so many hours at work, I figured you could use some company. Oh, bring. That's your dad. I got to take this right now.
Dad's calling again, and then that's it, right? And then Sun's like, I remember when you could just give me a flower and I'd be happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah. Hey.
Fair enough.
Money can't buy happiness.
It can buy a dog.
It can buy a dog. It can buy a cute little puppy, though. It can buy a sick-ass diamond ring.
Sick-ass diamond ring. That doesn't make you happy. I don't know what will.
Jin walks up to Sun's dad Jin walks up to Sun's dad and he's like, hey, I need a sick-ass diamond ring.
Give me that sick-ass diamond ring.
That's how much I love your girl is I need that sick-ass diamond ring.
Sick-ass diamond ring. I want to make her happy.
Gotta make her happy. Big diamond. Big doggy.
Big diamond. You know what actually is sort of unfortunate about the whole thing? She's like, back then you could just give me a flower and I would be really happy. And that is very nice and that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, flowers aren't even that cheap.
Flowers are, well, we don't know the origin of this flower.
That's true.
When he gives it, it looks like it fell off someone's lapel, kind of.
I guess. Yeah, it does look like he stole it from a coat.
Yeah, he just plucked it from the coat check or something.
I bought flowers once and I was shocked at how much they cost. They were like $35.
Nice bouquet of flowers, pretty pricey.
Yeah, pretty pricey.
But again, How else do you prove your love to someone?
That's completely it.
Got to put a dollar value on that.
If there's not a plant there to speak towards your love,
exactly,
then what does your love represent?
That's exactly right. It's like Beyonce's hit song always says, if you like it, then you should have put a dollar value on it.
If you like it, then you should have taken that phone call from my dad. Ring, ring on it. Okay.
So, later in the night, Sun's asleep on the couch. Jin bursts in, runs to the bathroom, and Sun's like, oh, hey, you were out late. What's up? She realizes, oh, my gosh, Jin's washing blood off his hands.
You are covered in blood.
Coated in blood. Whose blood is this?
Whose blood is this?
What do you do for my father? What do you do? Answer me. And Sun slaps Jin in the face to get his attention. And Jin says, I do whatever your father tells me to do. I do it for us. And it's an intense scene, and you know it's intense because the normally steady camera is waving all over the place, as it tends to do in season 1.
The camera is... the cameraman is full of emotion.
The cameraman is just swept up in the scene.
Yeah. And that scene is jarring. I guess it's just all stuff we already know, though.
That's exactly it. Yeah, this is an episode that probably would have been like good if we'd watched it in order, but now it's just kind of like, yeah, okay, this is all stuff that we know.
Yeah.
There's one particular reveal that is completely undercut by this horrible experiment that we're doing.
Which one is that?
When we learn that Sun can talk English.
Oh, yes. And we're like, oh,
yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
You speak English for the vast majority of the show. Half of the time, Jin is speaking English.
Yeah.
They really were not into the like Korean characters.
Exactly. 6 episodes in, they were like, this is not sustainable.
Yeah, exactly.
we
need to have them speaking the same language as everyone else on the show.
Exactly. We cannot afford this translator.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so there's another scene.
Yes.
And Sun is with an interior decorator.
Yes.
And they're talking about redoing their home. And Jin is looking disinterested on the couch. And it's all cool. And then Sun and the interior decorator go into another room. And the interior decorator is like...
Here's a scene and a half, folks.
Yeah. And she's like, I am actually the person who helps people flee.
I'm actually the escape artist.
I'm the escape person.
I'm that guy in Breaking Bad. That's me now.
Yeah, exactly. Meet me at 11:15. You'll walk out of the airport and don't bring anything, and no one will ever see you again. For the first week, they'll think that you're kidnapped. They don't ever say what they will think for the weeks following. But,
no. It's a heck of a plan.
It's sort of just dropped on you very quickly.
It really is a lot of info at once. So Sun is ready to get the hell out of this marriage.
She wants to flee.
She wants to flee, and she's ready to flee. And the time comes. They're at Oceanic. They're at the gates of the flight. Jack's in front of them, arguing about something. And Sun looks at the clock. It's 11:15. Looks out, sees a car. Looks at her, tears are streaming down her face. Can she really go through with this?
Is she really going to leave her husband?
Is she really going to worry her husband? Not only her husband, her father.
Her father.
A
very powerful man.
Very powerful and wealthy.
I will have you know.
Yes. And he looks over at Jin, and Jin pulls out the very same flower that we saw at the start of the episode.
They probably used the same flower to shoot both times. It's definitely not a real flower.
It's definitely not a real flower, but, you know... The symbolism's there, and it's fine.
Yeah.
And Sun sees that little gesture and walks back over to Jin and says, and Jin's like, whoa, what's wrong? And Sun's like...
Because Sun is bawling her eyes out.
She is tears streaming down her face.
Like the most difficult decision she's ever made in her life just took place.
And
Jin's like, what's wrong? She's like, nothing.
The flower's really nice. That's all.
Oh, that is what she says.
And Jin kisses her on the forehead and goes on his way.
He's like, all right, chill.
Great.
It is nice.
It's it's a heck of a moment. Yeah. I think this episode's fine overall. Yeah. It's not like an outstanding. It's not like a walkabout. It's not a
walkabout.
It's not like even a late season 1 episode where everyone's kind of working together because they're still building stuff up.
Yeah, totally.
But it's a fine episode, I think.
I mean, I don't think it's wrong to say that Sun and Jin's backstories are just like not the best backstories and just like sort of cliche riddled and whereas like I keep saying Terry O'Quinn. Locke's backstory is like super cool and interesting, and like the man is so sad, and so I feel like we haven't seen a lot of characters like Locke.
That's exactly it.
Who's like this man with a really big obstacle, and he's so detached from reality, and he's like
the only time they really pull off, I think I think the flashbacks work best when it's like you're contrasting what's happening on the island with the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And Terry O'Quinn's are obviously fucking Locks are obviously that to the nth degree. Kate's are kind of that, but they spin into like absurdity so quickly.
But these ones don't really have any bearing on what's going on.
Exactly.
Or very little. Very little.
Yeah. So that's the flashback.
That's the flashback.
That's the flashbacks. Do you want to talk about how this episode starts? Because it's wild.
Oh, yes.
So Jin's slapping a fish against some fuselage.
Oh, he loves slapping the fish.
He's got a big honking sturgeon just fucking slamming it on some metal. Plop, plop, plop. Plop, plop, plop. And suddenly, as Sun snaps out of a daydream, he realizes Jin is charging over to Michael, who's walking down the beach with Walt, and fucking tackles him and just starts beating the shit out of him.
And after he's punched Michael in the face several times,
he takes
Michael into the water and tries to drown him.
Yes.
Very cool.
This is a bad episode for Jin overall.
Jin does not look good in this episode.
He seems at best aloof, at worst abusive in this episode.
Oh, totally.
He's just like violent as hell, which does not mesh with the Jin that we've seen throughout the rest of the show.
Yeah, absolutely, right? It's like, it's such a... I mean, once you get more backstory, it's like somewhat of a red herring. Or I mean, Korea Jin definitely isn't like a good dude.
No,
because he does essentially
work. He works for the mob.
He's a bit of a hitman.
Yeah.
But I mean, also, this thing definitely makes it seem like he like beats Sun or is super manipulative and controlling.
Yeah, and is like the whole scene where he kicks Michael's ass is like so
violent. Like
he tries to murder him. This is not just like he they get in a tussle. It's not
exactly.
Jin tries to drown Michael.
To murder him. Yeah, he would have murdered Michael with his child right there.
And had Sawyer and Saeed not intervened.
Yeah.
They end up handcuffing Jin to a piece of fuselage.
And we end up asking, why did anyone stop him from essentially saving the show from one of the worst characters in the entire thing, which is saying something.
True.
They should have let him kill Michael.
That would have been
team killed Michael.
That would have been a hell of a move in episode 6 of the whole show.
To have one character murder another character. In such an insane way.
God. With no context. It's not even
no
resolved.
Context. Yeah, exactly.
Now that's a brave show. Not like
That's
this
not
Joe.
Too much bravery in primetime TV these days.
No, there's no bravery.
There's no bravery. But Braveheart was the last brave movie I saw.
That's exactly right. The last brave movie I saw was a documentary about the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, bravery. I used to have bravery, but now I don't. So my now it's buried in the graveyard. I don't know.
Not bad.
Yeah, I tried to make it work. We'll get there one day.
Well, if there's one thing you can say about us is that we will get there one day.
Absolutely. We're at number 47 right now. And one day, the goal is to get to number 48, so soon we'll have it.
Sooner than later, I think. I reckon.
Sooner or later.
Eventually. Sometime down the road. Éventuellement, nous allons là.
So murder.
Attempted murder. Attempt at murder, and everyone's kind of like, what the heck? How could this be? And there's a lot of stuff being flown around about how this could be. Michael suggests that maybe it was racially motivated.
Yes.
He says, I don't know how it is in Iraq, Saeed, but where I'm from, Korean people don't like black people. And later he rescinds this argument.
He says he was just mad.
Which is fair. He was almost
very mad. He did just get attempted murder.
Yes, that is, we'll give Michael some guff, but
Yeah.
I think this anger is reasonable.
Yeah, totally. It was just a crazy move to see Lost pull
Yes.
out of a show that otherwise has not made any sort of stance about anything.
Any sort of stance about, like, other than having characters of a different race.
Yeah,
really none
yeah.
whatsoever.
And very, like, strategically checking the boxes, having them, because there's no primary character that, like, all of the main people, like Locke, Kate, Jack, Sawyer, in the later times Juliet, are they're all white.
They are all white.
And then like you get like your Saeed, who is totally defined by his ethnicity / background, and is all of his lovers die.
Yeah, so that's not great. We've gone into how Lost is not great at. Like, obviously at the time it was like, whoa, look at how diverse this cast is.
Yeah.
There's 2 whole Korean people.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and it really doesn't hold up that when you like look at it even a second from a current day perspective.
Absolutely. But so that does render it very interesting that they chose to have Michael's dialogue directly address racism in America.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So
something that they never do again.
True. So, Jin's. I kind of forget how this whole plot unfolds. Jin's handcuffed there, and
Jin gets handcuffed to the fuselage,
and that pretty much like ends up being it for a while.
Yeah,
like
we just see him be handcuffed.
Yeah.
And people are looking at him.
Yeah.
He's looking at people.
Yeah, and
Sun and Jin have a conversation about like Sun's like, I can explain it, and Jin's like, no, don't.
How can you explain it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's a thief. We're not going to explain anything to a thief.
A thief.
And we also get a conversation with Michael and Walt where Michael's like, hey, where Walt's like, what do you mean about that racism thing? And she's just like, I was just talking out my ass because I was mad about getting almost murdered.
Sour.
And they have a little bit of John about how, like, you know, Michael's got to be a dad now and establishing that whole relationship a bit. They have an argument about how, like, you know, you're not my real dad, and Michael's like, I am, but I also, you know, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, we never really hung out.
Buddy,
old pal, old Walt, my man, my praying mantis.
What this all leads to is a scene where Michael goes into the woods to do some chopping of the woods,
as he does,
and Sun walks up to him and says in English, I can explain everything. And Michael's like, what? You can speak English this whole time? And why'd you wait till now to do it?
Why didn't you tell us?
And he's like, and Son's like, my husband doesn't know, and he has a bad temper. And and Michael's like, no doy. He tried to murder me. And Son basically explains that the reason Michael tried to kill him
tried to kill Michael.
Is because Michael was wearing his father-in-law's watch.
Yeah. Michael was wearing Sun's dad's watch.
Yes.
And Jin is like basically Sun's dad's hitman.
Yes.
Therefore, whenever he saw Michael with Sun's dad's watch, his immediate instinct was the hitman in him, which murders people for watches.
Yes. I believe Sun explicitly brings up honor, which is always fun.
Yeah.
When, you know, speaking of racism. So what Michael does in response to this is maybe the best thing Michael does in the course of the show. It's a hell of a scene. He walks up to Jin, handcuffed, walks up to him with the fire axe, holds the fire axe like right up to his face. And starts like ranting at him. Jin can't understand.
Oh yeah. He's like, I know you don't understand, but here's a number of things.
Here's my whole deal. I have to take care of my son, and everything's been crazy for me. And you try to kill me over a damn watch. Here's your freaking watch,
idiot.
And then he does the classic thing where I think this is like the second time someone has raised an axe, and everyone's like, oh no, he's gonna do it, and he fucking doesn't do it. He like frees him from his handcuffs. I forget when the other time we saw that happen was. I want to say maybe like Ana Lucia, I think.
I don't remember. I just remember this jarring scene that we see.
It's a hell of a scene
with old Mikey Mike and old Jenny Jen.
So yeah, Michael says, "All right, I'm freeing you, but stay away from me. Stay away from my son." And that's that.
That's the end of the basically the
main
namesake storyline.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to watch, like, I mean, I guess this is just how shows are, but to watch stories that are based around the auxiliary characters just don't take up half as much space as stories based around the main characters.
That is true.
Obviously. Lost just has such a bizarre structure where they wanted to put 20 important characters there, but they wanted to, obviously, to like pay attention to about 5 of those people.
Exactly.
But you still dedicate so much screen time to like these 20. It's such a bizarre thing.
It's really, I mean, that was one of the things at the time that was like huge about it, is that it wasn't just like, you had the 3 main jabronis, and then everybody else is one type of way.
Yeah.
Lost was out here going out of its way to like really flesh out these, like,
trying to have so many like round characters.
Exactly. And like, maybe it bit off, not maybe, it definitely bit off more than it could chew, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you have, Locke, who's a fascinating guy, and even some of the side characters are fascinating. For all we rag on Saeed, his episodes are fun. And all like, and then you also have like Michaels and Jin and Sun, who are and then you have
both of those, like of like Jin and Sun and Michael. All of their flashback storylines are not that interesting. They are, I don't know. I feel like I've literally just seen those storylines 100 million times.
Yes.
Of like, it's just like Jin and Sun is sort of a mob boss story, sort of a rich people story, sort of a very like Korean honor story.
Exactly.
And like relations between genders story as well.
Exactly. And it's like Lost wants so hard to like do everything. Yeah. But it can't
do everything properly.
Exactly.
So it's like it does things, but it does them in this fairly unoriginal way.
Exactly. And so the whole story with Sun and Jin is like very broad strokes.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's story is obviously very broad strokes. And then you run into problems where it's like they keep trying to like expand, like similar to with Kate, where they keep being like, how do we keep making this murderer on the lamb story even wackier? How do we raise the stakes even more? It's the same thing where it's like, how do we keep adding new dimensions to what is basically a very flat thing?
Yeah, totally. It's interesting. It's very. I don't know. It's interesting to just examine that what they're trying to do, because you get a lot more of that in the beginning, whenever you're really getting the setup to everyone's story. And I mean, we got the Locke episode last week or the week before? Last week. So we really got to see how well they can set some characters up.
And I think this episode does, for all its like completely wacky, like it has some wackier things, but in general it does a decent job of setting up the dynamics between Sun and Jin.
Yeah, and it does give us some interesting stuff to chew on, and especially the like the thing with Sun speaking English and Jin not knowing about it is very interesting.
That adds does obviously add a whole new wrinkle to for all the like, obviously they just didn't want to keep doing Korean. It does add a huge wrinkle to their whole relationship.
Yeah, and that's sort of the one,
and their relationship to the rest of the island.
Yeah, that's sort of the most interesting aspect of their relationship. I think is this language thing.
The language barrier.
Yeah. And Sun's reluctance to share that she can speak English and Jin not knowing, and I don't know.
It's neat.
It's neat. They did one cool thing with them.
They tried to do a cool thing with them.
And I don't know. I guess the Hitman thing is funny too.
The Hitman thing is like pretty. I don't mind the Hitman thing. I think it's.
I like a good Hitman thing.
I think it's. It could have been handled a little better, but I think whatever. I think there's an episode coming up where they delve right into how Jin is a hitman, and
yes, coming up.
It could be coming up next week or a year from now.
A year from now, literally.
So stay tuned for that episode. There's a few other things that happen on the island.
We've got Jack and Kate.
Yes,
they're two little lovebirds.
They're flirting and they're chirping, and everybody loves it. Everybody's got their hand on their cheeks and they're blushing, and everybody's like, "Wow, these guys are good. When are these bozos gonna smooch already?"
Oh, you're so in love.
They're so in love. They don't even know how in love they are, but we know, the audience. That's what we call a dramatic irony.
We are the audience.
We are the audience, and we know love when we see it.
Exactly.
So, the other thing that happens is, so Jack is kind of taking this small crew of people. It's like Jack, Kate, Locke, and Charlie. Good, solid crew.
Cool crew.
Taking them to these caves that he found, and their purpose is to get because there's basically fresh water at these caves.
Yeah.
So they're bottling up the water with the intent of bringing it back to the beach. But Jack is sitting there, and he's thinking like, hey, you know what? Guess what? Maybe we should move out here where the water is instead of staying out on the beach. And so that's kind of the other main plot of the episode is everyone's kind of thinking like, well, I want to stay.
Should we stay?
Should we go? Should we stay? I want to stay on the beach because I want to be seen by whatever passing vehicles are going by.
Yeah.
Vessels, air vessels, or
we want to be
vessels.
rescued.
Want to be rescued.
Baby.
And other people are like, well, there's shelter.
That's where the water is.
That's where the water is,
like
and
protection.
shelter. And shelter,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the whole frame of the other part of the episode.
Which one are you? Are you team beach or team water?
That was actually a thing I remember people asking each other at the time.
Really?
Like, you team caves? Because this was the first time that like the group really got
There was
split.
a big choice.
Yeah,
There was a
exactly.
big choice that had to be made, and like people are, there's no agreeing amongst the people.
Exactly.
You team cave or team water?
I think I'm team cave because I like to sleep under shelter.
I'm team cave.
I love water. I don't love to sleep on a beach.
No, exactly.
You get sand all
too
over
sandy.
all my stuff.
I
Too
could not
sandy.
do that sand for that long.
No,
they're always in
no.
like pants and stuff too, and they're
How?
wearing shoes and they're on the
How?
beach, and it's like it's so uncomfortable.
It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
That's the grossest thing that this show does. There'd be sand everywhere.
Here's a really funny thing: is that throughout season 1, that's a whole dynamic: is caves versus beach.
Yeah.
Season 2 rolls around and it doesn't even matter.
But they get the hatch in season 2.
They do get the hatch,
which
in season
changes
2.
the game.
Yes, true. But it's like nobody even mentions the caves.
Oh
anymore.
yeah, I had like I did not remember the cave aspect of the show.
Yeah.
That there was ever an option of them going to the cave because they totally stay beach, right?
Exactly.
I don't know why Jack comes back. Maybe we'll find that out next week. Maybe we'll find that out
in a year from
years
now.
from now.
That's exactly it. That's always the gamble we take with this show.
Yeah.
So many things happen around this. One thing that happens is Charlie sneaks off to do some heroin, and Locke catches him in the act, and Locke's like, "What are you doing?" And Charlie's like, "Ba-da-da-da-da," and Locke says, "Hey, don't move." And Charlie's like, I was promised I was not doing heroin. And the thing about Charlie doing heroin is that he chose to do it while standing on a beehive.
This is the true shining star of this episode.
Oh, what a delight.
Charlie trying to do heroin on a beehive scene is so incredible.
It's
Charlie,
wild.
do your heroin not on top of a beehive. He's literally standing on a beehive. And it's like, if you move, you will crack the hive. And it's like, how did he get onto it?
How did he get onto? He was so tunnel visioned about just getting
his heroin,
getting that fix, getting that monkey off his back. You know,
I guess so.
And so the whole, Kate and Jack, everybody kind of gathers around and they're like, what are we going to do? We got to seal it off. Go get some this and that and the others.
Yeah.
But Charlie's sitting there like, I'm scared of bees.
Oh, I have an irrational fear of bees.
It's so irrational.
I keep thinking like it's a very rational fear of bees. There's a million bees underneath you.
Yes.
And I mean, he is killing it too. He's not moving. He's being very calm while like bees start to go on top of him and stuff. It's like, if I were in that situation, I would do no better than Charlie at the very least.
Absolutely
and
not.
I would never claim to have an irrational fear of bees.
That's exactly it. Charlie's doing this like while probably on the cusp of heroin withdrawal as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
So
right?
Credit where credit is due.
Yeah, he's stressed out. He's in a
poor state.
He's in a poor state.
He does eventually slap his neck, and that does trigger
leads to the beehive runs out. And
yes,
it's comical.
He cracks the beehive open, and The bees go everywhere and everyone's fleeing. I also want to note that these bees are fake as hell. They are clearly CG bees.
No, these are real bees.
No, they're not.
They used real bees.
They did not use real bees.
Real
dude.
as hell bees.
I think you got duped, dude. Those are clearly.
Those are real bees.
They put the bees on a green screen.
These are honeybees. Honeybees.
You're the bee expert now.
Yeah, I've been to Bee Town.
You've been to Bee Town.
You think I haven't had a cup of honey straight from the hive?
You sip the honey right out of the hive?
I sip the honey right out of the hive. I suckle on the sweet teat of that bee. Suckle on the bee teat.
I hate that imagery.
Well, who isn't doing it?
So, America, Canada, the rest of the world.
No, if you've ever been to a sweet little town I like to call the island, you will suckle on the bee teat all day long.
You are, of course, referring to Prince Edward Island.
No, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Prince Edward Island, a.k.a. where they shot Lost,
Yes.
a.k.a. bee teat capital of the world, home of the bee teat suckle, the first and original suckle. And all other suckles actually are sort of mirrored off of the bee teat suckle.
What I really like is, that famous photo of the Charlottetown Conference.
Yeah.
Where, John A. and all his fucking bozos.
They're all suckling.
They're all suckling on the bee teat.
On the bee teat.
They all have their own bee teat to suckle.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like 1880, whenever the fuck. And so it's black and white, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But you can, like, if you know.
You can make it out.
You can really make the bee teat out of that famous picture. A part of our national heritage. That's my favorite heritage minute.
Oh yeah, the bee teat suckle one.
The 90 seconds uncut of John A. McDonald just suckling on a bee teat.
Exactly. So Charlie that's why if you do heroin and then suckle on a bee teat while you're standing on the hive, I mean, I've heard that's the greatest high in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's what Charlie was going for.
I think so.
He did very poorly at it.
Yeah.
And he just gets stung a bunch.
Yeah. So there's always next time. And also, the other thing that happens out of this is, well, there's two threads that emerge from this. One of them is dropped immediately, so let's do that first. Jack and Kate run into the caves. They take off their shirt, and it's like, whoa, they're shirtless together. While they're getting their breath and recovering, they find some corpses.
Oh yeah, Corpse Town.
They find two very old corpses. One of them's female, and
the other two. They were female. I know. It's from Sublime. from Reefer Madness.
The band Sublime?
Yeah. From the band Sublime. You know the one that we all like.
Everybody loves the band Sublime.
Everybody likes it. It's from the song Smoke Two Joints.
Okay. Classic tune.
Smoke 2 joints in the morning.
So... once they're done smoking 2 joints in the morning, they look at these corpses, and they also see they have a pouch with 1 white stone and 1 black stone in it.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like, this is weird. And Locke says, it's like they're Adam and Eve, kind of. And then that's the rest we hear of them.
That's it.
For the
forgotten
whole,
about completely.
For the whole show.
It's so stupid, yeah.
They say it, and then we forget about it until, I think... We get an answer to it 3 episodes before the finale, I think. We learn who those people were. And it's some Jacob ass bullshit. It's some Jacob ass bullshit.
Whoa, that's so awful. They literally 6 years later, they're like, you remember those 2 people that we talked about for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awful. I would much rather they never address it again than bring it up 6 years later.
I agree. It's bad. But for now, it's just a mysterious thing. And it's also what gives Jack the idea to be like, hey, they must have lived here. They lived here, and they were fine until they died. So maybe we could live here too. So the other thing that happens is that Charlie and Locke get to know each other a bit.
Yeah.
And Locke comes up and he's like, I have both your albums of Drive Shaft. I recognize you. He's a big Drive Shaft fan. He drops a fucking whole Pitchfork review about their legacy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He liked the self-titled album.
Yeah.
Second album wasn't quite as good.
Yes, exactly.
Which I mean, good year, Locke.
Exactly. He gives that one an 8.6 best new music, and the other one kind of more like a 5.4.
Yeah. Like a sophomore slump.
Exactly, yeah.
The sophomore slump is real.
It's real. And then they have a very fucking earnest and dumb conversation about how Locke says hey, you know what? I bet you miss your guitar, don't you?
Miss your guitar, buddy.
When was the last time you played it? And Charlie says, 8 days and 24 minutes.
So stupid. So awful. Very lame.
Very dweeb.
Very like, we're cool.
Yep.
Sort of.
With this,
sort of
you know
feel.
how we're cool? We have a player of the guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids love guitars.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
I hate guitars.
I hate them. 6 strings is too many. Give me 1.
Give me 1 string maximum.
1 string is all I've ever needed, and anybody who needs more is bougie as fuck.
You know that old saying, I only need 1 string?
Mm-hmm.
1 string only. The G string. I know. I'm sorry.
Hey.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Hey, sometimes you gotta make a funny joke about a G string.
Yeah, every now and again it does happen.
Every now and then it happens, and it's always a funny time that everyone loves to hear and think about.
Yeah. So they have the guitar conversation, and then Locke's like, "Oh, the island is gonna give you your guitar. Don't worry, buddy.
The island will give you the guitar, but the first thing you gotta do is give up your heroin." And
Charlie's like, "What?
How do you?
I'm not a heroin boy.
How did you know that I was doing heroin? And
you only saw me doing it.
You only saw me doing it on a beehive." And Charlie says, Locke says, "Listen, I want to help you, but you can't do it alone. So just give me your heroin and I'll help you out." And Charlie says, "All right, buddy. I agree. I'll give you my heroin if you tell me where my guitar is." And Locke says, "To find your guitar, you must simply look up."
And his guitar is in like a cliff.
Yeah, it's like lodged in
above their head.
A cliff, like lodged in some like roots or something.
Yeah.
And Charlie's like, "Whoa! I thought you were doing some kind of wacky. I solved your wacky riddle, didn't I? Ooh."
Give me my heroin back. I didn't do anything. I would have saw that.
He beats him with the guitar and takes back his heroin.
Yeah, takes back his heroin. And that's the end of Locke. Locke dies.
That's it. That's the end of Terry O'Quinn's life.
Terry O'Quinn died, yeah.
Yeah, he died.
I like Terry O'Quinn.
He died as he lived, giving out a riddle.
Giving out a riddle. Ooh, Terry.
Terry.
So that's the end of Charlie and Terry, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the episode.
That is pretty much the episode.
Let me take a look and confirm.
I think that is as well.
We get a scene of Sawyer in shades as everyone's kind of discussing.
He is so mean.
As everyone is discussing like whether to go or stay on the beach or go to the caves. He comes up and says something really racist. First of all,
he says, "He calls Saeed Captain Falafel,"
which is not great.
Yeah,
not great for our protagonist.
Yeah, it's casting our protagonist in a new light.
Mm-hmm.
Early Sawyer was just a mean bad dude.
Yeah, early Sawyer was just outright shitty all the time. Anyways, he's wearing sunglasses and looks fucking awful to see and hear.
Oh, it's gas station sunglasses.
He's wearing
gas station sunglasses.
It's such gas station sunglasses. We also get a scene between Jack and Kate to close out the episode, where Jack is like, "I'm going, you coming?" And Kate's like sitting on the beach solemnly, staring out at the lapping waves. And Kate says, "I'm not coming. I'm staying
here."
Like
you guys are like an hour walk away.
Yeah, this is
so
not
bullshit.
It's such a this great divide. We will never be seen again.
So ridiculous.
And they treat it like it's like, if you don't come with me now, why are you this way?
Yeah.
What did you do to be this way?
And the viewers at home are all like, "But we need Jack and Kate to fuck. They need to fuck.
Why?
I need them to fuck while I eat my popcorn. Drink my club soda or my Coca-Cola and watch Jack and Kate fuck." Yeah. We all remember that feeling.
That feeling, oh my God. The feeling that took the nation over.
That took the nation by storm. Let Jack and Kate fuck.
You're not letting them fuck, JJ. This is bullshit.
This is bullshit.
So, yeah, that whole scene is very fake drama. And we end with a montage of the people enter the caves, people staying on the beach. Hurley puts on headphones, has a Discman, a Walkman, whatever you want to call it, a portable CD player.
Oh, yeah, and he plays a song.
He plays a country song, and it's all like, "Are you lonesome? Oh, look around and doodly-doo." And
it's a very weird way to end the episode.
Yeah,
they stopped doing that.
Lost used to do this a lot, which is that they would end the episode with a montage over a song that was being played through her, like they would show Hurley like put boop and boop and boop his CD player, and a montage ends the episode.
Yeah.
And so we see where everyone's at. We see Michael and Walt bonding. We see Kate and Sawyer looking lonely on the beach. We see some other stuff too. We get it's nice. It's nice to end the episode on a note that isn't like,
yeah.
What? And so that's kind of nice, but it also is like very out of character for Lost.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's interesting because I just haven't seen that before.
That's literally the first time we've seen it in this show,
and we're 47 episodes in.
Exactly. So that's the episode.
That is the episode.
Heck of an episode.
Yeah, it was fine.
I don't mind that episode one bit, to be honest.
Season 1 was just a better show.
Kind of, yeah. It was a very different show and mostly better.
So what do you say we go to random.org?
Yes, let's see what we're gonna watch next week. It could be maybe it's an episode that's better. Probably it's an episode that's worse.
Almost definitely worse because most of the show quite bad.
Most of the show quite bad. But we persist because we love to do this show and we love you, the viewer.
So I typed in random.org, which is a true random number service.
Yes.
It uses static noise to develop randomness. It's not some sort of predictable algorithm.
Of course.
We've been over this. You know it. You know it. Love it. So for all your random needs, go to random.org. I typed in the numbers 1 to 121, corresponding with the numbers of the episodes of Lost. Got 39.
39, eh? 39, one of them. We've watched that one.
What is that one?
That is one of them, the Saeed episode from season 2. We've watched that one.
That sounds like a fun one. What about 105?
105. Ooh, boy, oh boy.
I feel like we might have watched that too.
In fact, we have not. This is
season 6?
Season 6, episode 2.
Oh.
Part 2 of the season premiere.
Very interesting.
It's going to be fucked and bad.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be trash.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. We are about to watch a very bad episode of Lost.
It's gonna not make a whole lot of sense.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, boy. All right.
We've got to watch season 6 sometime.
It's going to happen more often than it doesn't.
Oh, that sucks.
Anyways, next week we do that. This week we say goodbye. I've been Bean.
I've been James.
Thanks for listening to our goofy little show. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And like we say at the end of every episode, get